streets where the wolves run free. Every move we made just to survive and be. Lessons learned hard, but still we stand tall. Now we drop gems for the youth, get a call. Grey wolves on the rise, wisdom on display.
Once again, I got big
Welcome
auntie
to
with me,
the
you know what I mean?
Hey.
And we doing that thing, you know, she's always had questions for me about the life I used to live and, you know, the who's, what's, and whys and all of that good stuff. So anyway, let's get into it, babe. I'm going to let you take over.
I never understood the need or the why a person would want to commit to what gang life is. Because when I think of it, I don't see anything good. And I've heard things in the past, when this group got together, it was for this reason or that reason, for the community or something, and I just don't see that. I've never seen that aspect of it, I just don't understand why.
They're right. Of course, as you know, like any other thing, as things progress, the more and more time things exist, the further and further they get away from the original intent.
So it's almost like one bad seed.
Yeah, and you continue the program, you continue the process, you know, over the years, decades, or whatever you want to call it. As far as the draw of it.
But I still don't understand why even someone would want to do, like, what's good? Like, why would I want to be a part of this?
Well, again, that's because your mentality is not that. When you have things like kids who are great in school, they don't hang out, they don't do the thugging, they don't do none of that, then that draw is not as strong to them because that's not a part of their life. Although it exists, although they sometimes see it, it has nothing to do with their character because they're not built like that.
You know, as a mother of young men, that was one of the things I kind of prided myself in now that they are older. Like, you know, my kids have never been arrested. They didn't know,
Right.
been with no drugs. They ain't been in no gangs, you know. So it's something I kind of patted myself on the back for, like, you know, that was good. I did something halfway right, you know. I made some good citizens out here, maybe. But I just don't understand it. Maybe that's to say, I just don't understand it, and I can't see.
It's really, to be honest with you, it's really not for you to understand because that's not your life.
So how do you feel? How do you feel when people, when you hear that, like I just made the comment, I'm kind of applauding myself for keeping my boys away from things like that, or not having them engage, or. Well,
I think definitely, you get a pat on the back for it, but I think also too, we've had this conversation before, and I tell you, location is like real estate. Location. Would those three boys you have still be those same exact three boys if they grew up in McDougal Projects in Durham? Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's not like this. What I'm getting at is, it's not like there's not good mothers in the projects. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's not like every gang member's parents drop the ball. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So your boys, they're not a part of that life, but your boys didn't have to deal with that life because where they're located at, and because your family hangs out so much together, they didn't have to go and get friends. So that's the difference with it. But when you have a family and you guys are in Mebane, it's not to say that there's not gang members in Mebane, but it's not prevalent in Mebane like it is in Durham. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay. This is why you hear once a week or so somebody's getting shot in Durham. Boom, boom, boom. You don't hear that same drama taking place in Mebane. Okay. Do you see what I'm saying? So
I understand what you're saying. I see where you're coming from.
And that's exactly what it is. It's just like saying, it's like a mother raising her son in Beverly Hills and saying, well, my boys ain't gangbangers. Then, you know what I mean? But if you take them same boys from Beverly Hills and let their little ass grow up in Compton and then say the same, can you say the same thing? Do you see what I'm saying? Different environment. You are what you eat. You know, unless you are extremely blessed, you become what you eat every day. You become what you see and you hang around and you hear. You see what I'm saying? So when you in school, like, okay, like when I was in Cleveland, you know, GDs and Vice Lords was huge, humongous. And so there were gang fights, gang wars, there was all kind of stuff popping off. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're not in those areas, then you're far less likely to become affected by that life. But if you grow up in that area, then the likelihood of you becoming something pertaining to that life is very high. It don't mean you will, but it definitely means that the chances are
The chances are, yeah,
far
the
greater.
chances are just better.
Yes. Do you see what I'm getting at?
I do.
So it's not to take nothing from your parenting. You're a great mom. Not to take nothing from that, you know. But at the same time, again, your location and your family being as big and as tight as it is helps out tremendously with keeping them kids out of gangs.
Yeah.
And that's how y'all rock. That kind of keeps a lid on things. It keeps it all contained in this nice little space.
Okay, so do you think, because, you know, being a mom, and like you just said, because you have a great mom.
Right, yeah, definitely.
You have a great mom.
Yes, very much so.
But that didn't stop you.
That's exactly what I'm telling you now.
From doing anything.
Yes.
So it was your location?
Oh, it very much was my location. Very much, because I never wanted to do that shit. But my father died.
When I speak to you and just know where you are mentally and your art and how creative you are, and, you know, just learn so much about you, I just couldn't picture that.
This is exactly what I'm getting at, though. You heard me? This is exactly what I'm getting at. When I was younger and my father was alive, I didn't really want for anything. I was provided everything. You know, we lived in great areas. Everything was cool. My father died. Mom struggled now because now she has to try to pay his debt and also to take care of me and my sister. So she's working all the time. That put her in a position where she wasn't home anymore because she had to work overtime to try to be able to pay these bills and maintain everything that two people's paychecks was doing at one point.
Right.
So now you've taken the father out. My father was a disciplinarian. You know, he was on my ass 100%. So I know this guy the stuff that I went through to get where I am now, my father would have been the shortcut because there's no way I'd have did anything because he was disciplinary. He wasn't playing that shit. He died. So now you've taken the father out the home. You've also taken out half of the finances that's being provided for this home and these food and these kids. So she's got to double up now. So she's gone. And at the same time, these two are gone. I'm hurting. I lost my father. I'm pissed. You know what I mean? So when these things begin to happen, that's when you spiral out of control. Fathers are major with keeping their kids contained, keeping that energy directed into something positive. But when you take that energy, you turn this docile child into a bowl of rage and anger because he's watching everybody else with their dad. He's watching all of this stuff and he's thinking to himself, why me? Why don't I have a father? Why am I the one that's lacking? So that creates that rage in you and you don't have anyone to guide that rage. So that anger and that gang kind of fits perfectly with that rage because now you're not alone. You're not the one looking crazy where you're the one wilded out and everybody else is sane. You've become a part of this quote unquote family that views life the same way you view it. So it feels comfortable to you because they're not gonna knock you for being pissed off. They're not gonna knock you when you go and punch somebody in the mouth because you're angry. Because they understand your thinking. They are you. They understand it. Y'all might come from different scenarios. Y'all might have different pains. But it all mashes together the same.
So y'all give each other outlets for y'all's pain.
Very much so. You give people understanding. You know? Most people ain't going to give you that. Especially when you're young and you wild. They ain't going to give you understanding. They're going to tell you you crazy. They're going to tell you you bugging. They're going to tell you your ass going to go to jail. They're going to tell you all this right here. They're not going to be able to get into your head to see that it's all coming from a place of pain. You know what I mean? And so when you finally lock into that, especially when you really give yourself over to the set, when you really become a part of that life. You know what I'm saying? When you really just let loose. You know what I'm saying? And it's a cycle.
Would you want that cycle to repeat in your life?
Of course not. I don't know any gang member. I don't know any drug dealer. I don't know any street nigga, period. Not a true street dude that has truly lived that life, seen the horrors of that life, wanting someone else to live that life. You know what I mean?
And
that's
I
the thing
say
about
that to say this. I don't know how they still exist then.
They're gonna exist. As long as there's no understanding, as long as they're able to run rogue and there's no outlet for their pain, as long as because you have to have understanding. Without understanding, nothing will ever change. And unfortunately, our people, our race, unfortunately, instead of trying to understand and do a breakthrough with these kids out here that's lost and hurting, or with the parents, anything, instead we'd rather put them down. We'd rather shun them. You know, we talk junk about them. We, you know, like we disown them, so to speak, and that's their life. You know what I mean? Like when we watch or we hear about some gang member or whatever getting killed or murdered or going to prison for the rest of his life, it don't cause sadness in our heart. We think good riddance. He should be in there because he, you know, streets are safer now. Woo, 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 woo. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we throw our own to the wolves, and we don't save anyone. The only ones we save is the ones that's already saved for the most part. You know what I mean? So like if your son should decide that he want to start running wild, if one of your boys decides he want to start running wild, they save him. You see what I'm saying? But he ain't out there already. He ain't in that pain like that. He's heading towards it. And we view it and say, oh, he can be saved. We'll save him. You know what I mean? But this other one that's out here walking, none of them, you get to a point to where you love your homies. You love your dogs. You love your boys. You love your whatever you want to call them, whatever you claiming. That's your family. That's your bread and butter. That's your family. Those are the ones who you can say, hey, homie, I ain't got nowhere to stay, man. And they say, man, come here, stay at my mom's crib with me, man, or come stay with me, or boom, 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 and this, that, and the third, bam, bam, bam. Those are the ones you can say, hey, bro, look, I got into it with this dude up here, and he got fired, you know what I'm saying? I need some heat. And they're the ones that's gonna say, here, bro, I got you. Here, take mine, hold this, bam, 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 to hold you down. That way you good, don't get caught out there slipping. You know what I mean? Like, so it's those type of scenarios to whereas if you go and you say, hey, I got into it with somebody, and they trying to, and I know when I run into them again, they gonna try to set me on fire. I already know what it is. You know what I mean? Most people are going to, the first thing on their mind is, why are you even here? You know what I mean? Get away from me. Get away from my home. Get away from my kids. Get away from me. Get away. That's your thing. You get away from me. We're not understanding them. No one goes and say, hey man, listen, I know you banging. I see you outside. I see what you do. I fear for you. I pray for you, bro. You know, I want to understand what you're dealing with, what you're going through. You know, I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to pry, but I really care about you, young brother, and I want to know. You know, and I'm just letting you know I'm here for you. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. If you don't, cool. But I'm just letting you know I'm here for you, bro. You're not by yourself, and you don't have to go to the dark side because you got someone right now that's telling you I'm here for you. Whenever you're ready to talk, holler at me, man. And I'm gonna do whatever I can to listen to you and work out a plan to help you out of that situation because I don't want that life for you, and I know you don't want that life for yourself either because it's a dead end. A lot of my homeboys, and you know, myself included, you don't catch buses. We don't ride buses. We don't ride the city buses and stuff like that. Because the last thing you want to do is walk up on a city bus and walk into something and you trapped on this bus. And the last thing you want to do is be on the city bus, ride on the city bus, and these cats that you got beef with pull up beside the bus and see you on that bus. So that life is different, you know, and you have to understand that life, and you also have to understand you're dealing with people who have PTSD. Like I'm 52 right now, and people still, and you know it yourself, People try to, when they scare you playing, I'm punching. You never hear me go, oh, or jump or none of that. The first thing I do is turn around and cock back to punch immediately. And I don't do it thinking that that's what I'm going to do. I don't think somebody's going to scare me, so I'm saying, well, when they scare me, I'm going to punch them. I don't do that. I'm just doing whatever I do. That's a defense mechanism. You know what I mean? And I'm 52 and I still do that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You see what I'm saying? But that's PTSD. That comes from something. That comes from a trauma that you dealt with. That comes from having your life on the line. That comes from, I mean, you don't know what it's like, and the average person don't know what it's like to live their life through their 20s and mid-30s almost before you realize that, hey, maybe I ain't gonna die early. You know what I mean? Like every year through my 20s, every approaching birthday, I was terrified because I just felt like I would die before that birthday. I felt like something would happen and I'd be gone from here for that birthday. And I hear that a lot from a lot of cats that I talk to now. You know, that they felt the same way. You know what I'm saying? But I never mentioned it to people when I was that age, when I was 20. I never mentioned it. I just felt it. You know what I mean? And so
it got to be a terrible way to live.
It is, but that's why I say you have to show compassion and understanding to get somewhere with these kids, because I've been put down by everyone. So you coming at me is not going to help me. It's going to make me blow up on you, because I've already got that from people. You don't know me. You don't know my life. You don't know what I've been through. So who the fuck are you to judge me and judge what I'm doing because of the life that I've lived? You see what I'm saying? So you can sit in your cushy house, live your cushy life, and have your good job or your decent job, and sit in your house that you ain't worried about somebody coming and shooting up, or no doors you ain't worried about anybody kicking in. But I have to live this life with these type of individuals over here on this side. So what you think about me matters way less to me than my survival does. And that's how these kids feel. That's how those kids that live that life truly feel about it. Because who the fuck are you to judge me? You see what I'm saying? You don't even know me. You wouldn't even survive if someone threw you into this water that I'm in right now. You drown immediately. Do you see what I'm getting at? And so, and so that's why it's like that. That's why your approach has to be out of a place of love and compassion and understanding in order to make a change. So it's not going to be a change because we don't do compassion and understanding. We do it where you're supposed to come and you're supposed to be nice to us first, and then we'll talk to you kindly and help you out of your situation. But you need to be nice to me first.
You gotta be nice to you first.
You see what I'm saying? It's almost like it's like finding a wounded animal in the forest, right? And you expect this with gash leg and all this right here. When you approach him, you expect him to just help him. Yeah, you expect him to just lick your hand and all this shit. No, he gonna bite. He gonna strike. So if you don't go towards him with an understanding that he's wounded, he's hurt, and he has that rage in him because of that. If you don't deal with him in that sense, then you ain't gonna get nowhere with him. You might as well just leave him alone. But if you really want to help him, then you have to approach him as though he is a wounded animal. So that way you don't get upset when he does try to strike at you the first few times, because you understand where it's coming from. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Okay. I see it a little bit. I see where you get. I see it.
Yeah, I mean.
So, do you think that it can go back to what people say it was like, years ago? Like,
no,
the great good parts of this is
no.
We have this because of this.
No,
so it's past that. It's
too far gone. Yeah, because it's not that anymore. So no, I don't think it can go back to that anymore because of what's been attached to it. The negative connotation, the negativity, the violence, everything about it is what it is now. You can't take that away. That's like saying, can the Ku Klux Klan still call themselves the Ku Klux Klan and go to black neighborhoods and feed black people and, change you? No.
So what would you say to young you?
Wow. To young me?
Before joining.
Well.
Or before accepting that life?
Well, I think, to be honest with you,
Or would you, everything you went through, you would think you went through, and there was a reason and a...
Well, I always think there's a reason behind
Or-
everything. I think even in that sense, I think it's a reason behind me, living that life I lived, being in the gang as long as I was in it, going to prison. I believe all of that was a purpose for, if nothing else, other than a testimony.
No, right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And to be able to relate to these kids out here. You see what I'm saying? I'm not as young as they are anymore, but the reasoning behind the gangs and the thing that makes the gangs work and last as long as they do is still the same mechanics. Nothing changes with that. The only thing that changes is the players. The game still stays the same. You see what I'm saying? But to get back to your question, if I could go back in time, ideally, if I could go back in time, I would go talk to my mom. You see what I'm saying? Because it starts with the parents. So
it starts with someone other than yourself, you're saying?
Well, I'm saying because and I can't say for sure that it would have changed something, but I certainly believe it would have, is the fact because that wasn't me. You see what I'm saying? You have some kids that just from age of 3 own up their terrors. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Those kids are terrors, so that's what they are. Then you have the majority of children are not that. The majority of children become whatever they become.
Yeah, they're like sponges.
Through life experiences, yeah. And so I wasn't that kid. I wasn't the terror. You know what I mean? So I think I would tell my moms, your time with me is more important than you being able to take care of me financially. See what I'm saying? I think that with that being said, you're home more. With that being said, there's far less time for me to be out here in these streets, roaming these streets, getting caught up with these thugs and these gangsters, you know what I mean? Not to mention, with you being home, you can potentially help to channel my anger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with you not being home, that rage goes nowhere. No matter how much money you can pay for whatever, that anger is still there. And I have to process this with a 8-year-old mind. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
So, with that being said, I would talk to her first and say, I would rather... I see, because I know how this plays out. I've seen this movie. You know what I mean? And I know it's a rough go for this kid if you do this.
Yeah.
So let's try this. And I'm not saying that's going to make a difference, but I truly can't see how I could make it worse. You see what I'm saying? So that would be the first thing I would do if I could go back. But then, for me, I would say seek out your uncles. Seek out the grown men that are closest to you and your mom in your life. Go to them, humble yourself, go to them and just follow their lead. Let them teach you what it is to be a man. Your dad's not here, but these guys are grown, they work. They're not out here thugging. Go to them and learn how to be a man. You don't need to be tough, but again, 8 years old. My father died when I was 7. My father died December 1st, 1980. So he died, 27 days before my birthday. You know what I mean? Before I turned 8. And so, me looking for that manhood, wanting to be a man, and the streets are gonna tell you that to be a man, you gotta be tough.
That's
what
right.
I mean? To be a man, you gotta, can't nobody tell you what to do. You do boom, 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 you're a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but that's not being a man. But that's what the streets tell you it is. And if you don't have anyone to counter that, then you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna follow that tough guy. And you're gonna soak up what he gives you like a sponge, and you're gonna go and do what you do, and crash out. You know what I mean? Numerous times. And so that's the whole thing about that life and that culture, is that these kids are wild, and then they're killing each other right and left, and that's horrible. And I hate it with a passion. but it's because they're hurt, and it's because they have no guidance or direction at all. And to be honest with you, it's because the people who should be schooling them and teaching them and reaching out to them are scared to death of them. And so they run from them as opposed to run to them.
To them to help them.
You know, and they just let them crash. And then they just sit back at a safe distance and say, man, that's so sad they doing this. Man, I hate that. Man, that's you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about it, you know, and that's why I'm always talking about trying to build some type of coalition or something to get some people to come with me to help go and talk to these kids.
Yeah.
Because someone has to stand up to go into the darkness, to go into the jungle and go into these gang-infested neighborhoods and just talk to the kids.
We've talked about that as well, about, you know, to these guys out here, or anybody, females, guys, company owners, anybody with a business, anybody that has a trade that can go out and speak to these young people.
Yes.
Hey, come and learn this. Come on, do this. Let's, you know.
And that's it. And
we just all got to do our part.
Yep. And I'm going to shoot my email at the end of this, even though it's on the thing. I'm going to shoot my email to anyone who has the potential to help out with this situation and willing to do it and want to do it, you know. Because these kids can be saved, they can be changed, but they won't be saved on their own, and they won't be saved by some other race or the government doing it. We have to take care of our own, and we have to seek a change in order to achieve a change, you know. But is there anything else on your mind?
No, I think that's good for today.
Oh yeah? Okay. Well, on that note, thank you again for joining me, love. You know what I mean? And I hope this was an eye-opener for some of y'all out there. I hope this at least gave some of you some insight into something that you may have been wondering about, or, you know, curious and just knew no one to speak to about it. You know, and for my brothers and even my sisters out there who are living their life on that other side, I want you to know and understand that even though it seems like it, you're not alone. Trust me, you're not alone. A lot of times there are people who really want to help you and who really understand what you're dealing with and going through. They just don't know how to approach you.
That's right.
And they're scared to death. So, to my youngsters out there, man, you know, give people a chance. Understand people are scared. You guys and girls are not scary because you guys and girls are in the mix and you're living that life. You know what I mean? But people that are older than you tend to be a lot more scarier, man. And when you're around them, you know, if you can. I'm not saying let someone disrespect you, but I am saying if you can, humble yourself a little bit and talk to them. Because you never know who's that one that could help you and potentially help pull you out of that life and give you a better life, that life that you deserve to have.
Yes.
You know, because none of us, including myself, when I lived that life, none of us deserves to live a life of violence, of despair, and of pain. And certainly none of us deserve to live a life where we got to look over our shoulder every single day for someone trying to kill us who look, dress, think, walk, and talk just like we do, you know? And so, yeah, we've got to bridge the gap. It has to start somewhere.
That's right. And I just want to thank you today for being open and honest with us. And
always.
Yeah.
Always. I mean, I don't brag or boast about anything that I did, and I'm not happy about anything that I've done, but I'm not going to hide it. You know what I mean?
It definitely made you who you are.
Exactly. It made me exactly who I am. You know? And so, on that note, again, I thank you for joining me, my baby. You know?
Yes, you're more than welcome.
And, I love you. Yeah. Y'all know what it is, man. Another good one we had today. I hope it opened your eyes up to a conversation that needs to be had. You know, I pray God's blessings over all of y'all, man, as well as us. And we'll holler at you on the next one. Until then, we out.
Out in the streets where the wolves run free. Every move we made just to survive and be. Lessons learned hard, but still we stand tall. Now we drop gems for the youth, get a call. Grey wolves on the rise, wisdom on display. Welcome to the grey wolves, where we drop the truth. Sharing life lessons, shining light for the youth. From the block to the mic, we got stories to tell. Join the pack now, together we will excel. From the corners to the stage, we've seen it all. Lost some brothers, but we're still standing strong. Share the stories of the fight, hear it in our tone. Old souls with a fire, we ain't doing this shut on. Tune in and hear how the struggle plays. Welcome to the grey wolves, where we drop the truth. Sharing life lessons, shining light for the youth. From the block to the mic, we got stories to tell. Join the pack and now together we will excel. So come ride with us.